Hello, my viewers. Welcome back to the channel. And by the video title, you know what this video is about. Who else should the Pittsburgh Steelers sign in free agency? I know we've been picking up a lot of great people, getting a lot of guys added to the team. Isaac getting added to the team. I can't say his last name perfectly, so I'm going to call him Isaac, the offensive lineman. And then, of course, adding Herbig to the team as well. And then adding Cole Holcomb to the team as well. Patrick Peterson. The Steelers have been doing a lot of great. They're picking up a lot of great guys. Elan Roberts, another guy too. Just getting a lot of guys to fill different spots and just getting better at the position and adding depth. And the O-line depth look very, very good. They're going to play some very good football. And we're getting back to the Steelers days of running that football, just running the football and playing that hard-nosed football like we did a little bit last year after the bye week. You see they start kind of converting to their old self. We're going to play to run the ball and, of course, play to stop the run. And we started doing that very effectively last year after the bye week and stuff, started playing amazing football. So hopefully this season we can go into that too as well, get to the old formula, and that's the formula of success. When you can run the ball well and take the pressure off your young quarterback, off your young offense, and just like kind of ease everybody off, and when you can like run the ball and milk the clock out and make your defense perform better as well. Because the Steelers defense is already elite, so them having to be on the field less and conserve more energy, they're gonna make more splash plays instead of being on the field the entire time because the offense is getting 3 and outs and 3 and outs. So the Steelers kind of converting back to that old school style where they won the Super Bowls in Super Bowl 43 and on, so like that. Super Bowl 43 was the last Super Bowl win. Super Bowl 45 was the last Super Bowl appearance. And it's been a while, so it's time for us to get back to that old formula, to get back to winning and adding trophies to the case. So yeah, but some guys I feel like the Steelers should maybe add or maybe look at. I don't think there's a lot of names circling around. Of course, the most notable one is Terrell Edmunds. We need to bring Terrell Edmunds back because Terrell Edmunds is an amazing player. He was an amazing player, getting better and better. I know he wasn't like what we thought he was going to be when he first got drafted here early on, but he started improving year after year, getting better and better, and just showing you that he is a big piece, a part of this team. And of course, you rather have more than have all of them than not have one of them missing like that. So we brought KZ back. Minka's already locked up with us for a long time like that. He's playing at a very high level, entering his prime too. Troy Edmunds, we can bring him back as well. You have those 3 safeties, those 3 guys who can go out there and just play amazing football together and make the defense even better like that. So hopefully they can get a deal done. I know they did some cutting. They cut Miles Jack. And they might do some restructuring. Maybe got to go out there and get some more money. I don't know what the asking price for Troy Edmunds is. Maybe it's 10 million plus. I don't know if it's like 10 million a year. He had looking for something like that, like 10 or 12 million a year. I don't know exactly what the asking price is. If you guys heard something about it or seen anything about it, let me know in the comment section. But I don't know the exact asking price he's asking for like that. But maybe the Steelers can meet him in that range or something, try to bring him back, unless he's trying to move on like that. But he made it clear at first that he said he wanted to stay with the Steelers. Maybe they just negotiate, or maybe he's just kind of like looking at all his options, because you never want to be certain. You might say, like, for example, you might say that you signing with the red team. And then but the blue team gonna offer you a contract. You don't want to say that you signed with the red team yet. You want the blue team to kind of bring up the price a little bit, so the red team can maybe match it a little bit or get close to it, and you get the best deal possible like that. So you want to like weigh your options. Maybe he's on that approach and waiting to see the best contract out there, and like to get the Steelers to make their offer up a little bit higher. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but hopefully he comes back. Another guy is Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree has been talked about a lot, making his return since he got released from the Titans, and I will be all for it. The Steelers kind of struggled last year a little bit, as we've seen when T.J. Watt went down. We have another guy. Alex Highsmith was playing amazing football, but he was only one man, and they started double teaming him. But he still went out there and ate. He should have been a Pro Bowler because he was playing amazing football. He had 13.5 sacks or 14 sacks, and he was top 5 in sacks, top 5 in forced fumbles as well. I think he was tied with number 2 in forced fumbles, if I'm not mistaken, or number 1. But he had an amazing season last year. But you can't get it done by yourself. Malik Reed on the other side wasn't doing the best and stuff. But I feel like if the Steelers can add a guy like Bud Dupree, and we keep our guys fresh, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Bud Dupree being the guy who can rotate in different spots. And Bud Dupree was very good with us. It's just the injury concern. He kept getting injured. I remember early on when he got drafted, he was kind of like not the player we thought he was going to be, but later in his career, he started getting better and better. But then the injuries caught up to him. He started getting injured. And I remember that one year when we was 11-0, we lost to the Washington football team. He tore his ACL, and that kind of like declined our season because we had that 1-2 punch, him and T.J. Watt. But now with T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and we can bring Bud Dupree in on a good price too, and have him be like one of those splash-like players like that, and just have him different spots like that. Be like, we're going to use him like this, use him like that, so conserve his health, but also keep all our guys fresh and rotated and stuff. our team gonna be very good, and that pass rush gonna be very, very good. Like that, we get Bud and TJ and Ice High Smith all together. That'd be nice. So that'd be a signing I'd be willing to see as well. Some other names on the list. I know some people mentioned Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know about that signing. Odell Beckham Jr. maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I would definitely say, of course, like that. And maybe before the year before last, or before he tore his ACL and stuff. But he had back-to-back knee injuries. I know they said at first he was active for $20 million, but he said that was false. He was asking for that amount. He said, but $4 million is not enough money. So I don't know if he'll take a contract, maybe a 3-year, $21 million contract. But Odell is a veteran receiver like that. He's a very good receiver too. In his heydays, he was very good. Over 7,000 career receiving yards. Got a Super Bowl ring. He could probably won the Super Bowl MVP if he played that full Super Bowl because he was balling. He was going crazy at first. Before he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. But Odell Beckham Jr. It would be cool to have him, but I don't know if the Steelers go that approach. I think you'd probably be better for us to just keep the guys we got because we already got Jesse Johnson and Pickens. Pickens. Oh, I had it right. I don't know. I thought I was saying Pickett. Pickens, yes. We had Jesse Johnson and George Pickens, but we don't really have a third guy. I know Steven Sims is another guy who I got on the list too as well. Maybe bring him back and just like roll with him, and then maybe draft a guy. You most likely can do that. Draft a guy. The Steelers are very good. Wide receiver university is what they call the Steelers, because we see a lot of different receivers who come here and just show out like that, and we see some guys who leave the Steelers. They don't look the same. We have a lot of guys throughout history, like throughout the recent memory like that. You just look at like Antonio Brown. You look at Well, actually, we can go back even a little further than that. Look at Antoine Randall. He was a very good player too. Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown. Remember we had Emmanuel Sanders. He was very good. Now he left and went to the Broncos and played very good too. And Jericho Cotchery. Who else? Martavis Bryant. Marcus Whedon. Juju Smith-Schuster. All type of guys like that. Sammy Coates even had a good year with us at one time. James Washington led our team receiving yards 1 year too as well. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think I already said his name like that. But we had all different type of guys who just come out of nowhere and just ball out. Remember Kobe Hamilton, the guy who was on the Dolphins free agent. I think he was like a Dolphins practice squad member. He came out there and he made some plays here and there. So we always had some guys who just come in and just make plays. Darius Harris-Bay. I actually had high hope for him at first because he had that speed. I thought he was going to be like that second level type guy. Him and Sammy Coates, but he never looked to that. Kind of like Drew Archer a little bit. When we drafted him, he had that speed, but he just wasn't built for the NFL. He was a little smaller, like running back, and he really wasn't the best type of receiver, like the molded to receiver or something. And he kind of like got the league a little bit. But the Steelers always find a way to get a receiver and make a receiver great. George Pickens from last year. So I think if they draft a receiver, it'd be good. But Calvin Austin is another guy, too, who's on the rosters. We're going to see how he looks. Now, if he looks very promising, the Steelers might not have to draft a guy. Maybe they already feel that way about Calvin Austin. Like, hey, he's going to be this top speedster guy. We've seen him make some plays in training camp, like go out there and be a burst of energy, burst of speed and stuff, and like open the defense up a little bit. Like oh, okay, this guy got that first class speed. We got to step back a little bit. So maybe if he's like very good like that, and maybe he's like the team see him as being like that guy who can bring a different dynamic to the team. Maybe they don't go that approach of drafting receiver, but they drafted one. I have very high luck, very good luck in their drafting process for receivers. But T.Y. Hilton was another name on the list as well. He's a veteran presence. That'd be good for the team in the locker room. But I don't know. T.Y. Hilton is, I don't know if he'll retire. I think he probably retired most likely. I know he came out of retirement basically a little bit, or I don't know if he was retired officially, but he came back just to play for the Cowboys and get the experience in the playoffs and stuff like that, and play in the playoffs for a chance to win a championship. I don't know if he'll be back this year, but you never know. But I don't think any of those receivers right there would be, suitable for the team. Steven Sims would probably be the only person I'll probably bring from free agency. Another guy, too, on the list I had is Yannick Ngakoue. I finally said his name right the first time. Last year he had 9.5 sacks. The year before that he had 10 sacks. He was on the Ravens. He was pretty solid, too. He'd be a guy you can add to your defensive line, your defensive end type. He'd go out there and play amazingly. He's been on a lot of different teams lately. He was on the Colts. He was on the Raiders. He was on the Ravens, and then before that the Jaguars. Like that, he kind of been moving around a little bit, but he's still a pretty good player. So I wouldn't mind the Steelers bring him in, but I don't know what the asking price for that would be. But most likely, I think the Steelers will probably just stick to the approach they're doing, not getting the superstar names. We got to spend like a lot of money, but still getting guys who are very capable and getting guys who can maybe emerge into like even more stardom, or guys who are just solid and consistent, because consistency go a long way, especially for us, because the tackling in the middle, we had Robert Spillane. He was good at tackling, but his coverage skills wasn't the best, and sometimes he would get beat easily like that too. on some like coverage plays, and Devin Bush, I don't know what he was good at. He was good at a lot of things at first, but then later down the line, he couldn't tackle, and then he couldn't cover. So a lot of things happening. So hopefully the Steelers, with these new guys we got in, and maybe the linebacker we draft, hopefully it's Trenton Simpson or somebody, then maybe the Steelers could like go into the next like era, the new era, the new like the future like that with the linebacker they can trust in the middle. Because we've been looking for a guy since Ryan Shazier, and it's been like a lot of different people, from the John Bostics and then Devin Bush. Robert Spillane. It was another guy too. I forgot. It was somebody else. Something Spence. I remember that one time. Something Spence. I forgot his name. I remember he was the one that was in the playoffs that guy was getting beat when we played the Jaguars and stuff. But yeah, there's been a lot of different guys in that middle. They just haven't panned out. So hopefully we can get a guy who plays well with us. But yeah, that's all I got for this video today, guys. Let me know who you like to see the Steelers sign next. I think Bud Dupree and Terrell Edmonds will be the notable two. Those guys right there, to make sure they bring Terrell Edmonds back, and then make sure you go out there and get Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree would be a nice addition to the team as well. Like that, go ahead and make a reunion happen. But that's all I got for this video. For the second time, this is actually for real this time, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Peace out.